All right, everyone, welcome back to our picks or our, you know, gaming podcast. Uh, we've been on a heater. This is week 8, so we've had 7 weeks. We had 5 in a row. We were on a hot streak. And then last week I was worried. We were 10 and 11 on the picks. But we hit for the first time this season our touchdown parlay, which was at 7.84 units. So we're back in the positive on the touchdown parlay. Cove has something to say too, it seems. We were able to keep our streak going. So we are working off of 6 positive weeks in a row. We ended up 13-11 with +1 unit. And I'll just kind of talk about the scoreboard real quick. So we've been talking about Jamie a lot just because his volume of picks has been growing. But I'm now going to focus on Stone, who's been leading us for a while. His record is 31-12, and has 72% winning. That's insane. Plus 18 units. I don't think even in my own personal card I've ever picked that level of percentage. So I'll turn it over to you to get us kind of open us up.
Yeah, I would say it was pretty even between Jamie and I. I had a lead in units, but we were pretty similar in wins. But last week was a pretty big week for me. I think I went like 7-2 or something. Hit some big touchdown big touchdown units as well. So I have a lot of picks now, so I'm gonna try and win as many as I can moving forward.
Yeah, and then just in second place, Jamie is 27-22, which is also a great record, plus 3.4 units on the season. It's hard to keep up with 72%, but with volume, things are starting to balance out, and Jamie's right in position to take the lead. I'll pass it over to Jamie
I
for
think I've
his.
I've been getting jobbed on some picks, so I think that my luck will turn around. But also, heavy wears the crown. With a lot of picks, you got to make a lot of right picks. So we'll see if Stone can keep it up.
Yeah, we were talking about
Um,
this before. The more picks you have, the more you have to win in order to keep your units up. Even if you have a winning record with picks, like if you go like 4-2, you still have to have a good amount of. You still are like going even on units, so you need like 5-1 to actually go get some positive units.
Yeah, the design is to kind of cap it a little bit, right? To prevent us from getting to a certain place where it'd be like totally unreasonable, but also reward people for winning. When I forecasted that, of course, I didn't see us getting to 7 player props like Jamie or someone picking 72% winners. So we've already on week 8 gotten to a place where we're going to have 20 some picks, 25 picks, I think, 26 picks. So hang in there. I know the tickets are getting longer and longer. I'm having to get my coaching wristband out just to keep track of everyone's picks on the couch. But it should be good to go from here. So I'm going to pivot us over into week 8. Stone will be first with 4 picks, Jamie with 2, and then myself with 2 at the end. So Stone, you can lead us off.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and start. It feels like this is the first week I've really broken out with game picks. Got keeping getting some streaks on with the game picks finally, even though these are my least favorite ones to pick. But first one, Cleveland has a new quarterback. They haven't scored over 20 points all season. I think that's going to change this week. Baltimore's defense is not great, and we know Baltimore can score points. So I'm going over that game over 45.5 at -108.
Did not see that one coming. Just
yeah,
start
I
off
mean,
with a backup quarterback
especially
pick.
especially Baltimore towards the ends of games have been giving up a ton of points. They cannot seem to keep a lead. I myself was sweating that last Baltimore game because I had the spread and they almost gave it up with a minute left. So even if they're killing them, I think if the end of the game, if it's 30-10, they're gonna just let go of the rope and
They
Cleveland
play
gets.
they play a lot of prevent defense that seems to end up with them just giving up a ton of points when they have a big lead.
All right, Jamie, you're up next.
Yeah, so for my pick, I'm gonna go with Las Vegas's team total under 15.5 points at -105. They play the Chiefs. The Chiefs are one of the best defenses in the NFL. I think Las Vegas has only scored over 15 twice this year, maybe once. I just don't see it happening here versus one of the better defenses.
Do they got Minshew going this weekend now that
Yeah, I think
O'Connell's hurt?
Yeah.
O'Connell
Okay.
broke his
Yep, it's
hand with
Minshew.
his thumb or something. I don't know.
All right. Well, I'm glad nobody took this. I thought I would definitely see this one fly off the board pretty early because I was surprised. I do want to check. It's a little chalky, so the line might have moved from yesterday. It hasn't. I'm going to lay some chalk here. I'm going to take the Atlanta Falcons at the Buccaneers -2.5. Atlanta didn't play great last week. They got beat by the Seahawks at home. I think they have a bounce back game this week. And Mike Evans hurt his hamstring. Godwin dislocated his ankle. You know, Tampa Bay gave up a ton of points, and they're on a short week from that Monday night. So I'm going to lay the 2.5 with Atlanta and see that they get back on the right track in the division and hopefully start to really secure my Atlanta division.
What were the odds
future
on that,
there.
bud?
-118.
118.
I had that on
Yeah.
my list. I just looked at it.
So last night when I wrote it down, it was 118 as well. This morning it had moved to 3, and if I check, yeah, 3 is plus money, so I'll take the 2.5.
Yeah, take the 2.5.
Yeah. All right, back to Stone.
All right. Going to the next game. This game, week 1, got out of hand. Division game, Houston versus the Texans, or the Texans versus the Colts. I think it will probably get out of hand again. Texans defense, not super scared of them. And Houston, the home road splits for CJ Stroud is kind of crazy how much better he does at home. And I think this game at home, he's going to want to bounce back from last week. And I think they'll both put up points. So that's over 45 at -112.
I mean, have they been playing at home the last couple of weeks? Has the away schedule coincided with Nico Collins being out? Because that might be.
That could also be true.
Yeah. But you'd think, hopefully they'd figure it out. Indy has a terrible run defense too, and they've been jumping on Joe Mixon.
So the last 2 Texans games have been away.
I was on the game over last game for Green Bay, and Houston lost it, but at halftime it was way over what it needed to be to get there. And they did not look, and it might have been Green Bay's defense, but they did not look sharp out there in that second half. There was not a whole lot of scoring. So just interesting fact. I had a chance to get some notes. Cove, thank you. Stone is 4-2 on the overs, so he just added 2 more overs to his total this week, and we'll see if he can keep that going.
These are the advanced stats that we love.
Yeah, I'm gonna try. Now that we have a little bit of a better sample set, I'm gonna try to make some notes for us. So anyway, pass it over to Jamie for his second pick.
So I was going to pick 1 or 2 things in this game, but I'm just going to go with the Washington-Chicago over 43 at -112. Washington's individual line is 20.5, and they've hit that every week but week 1. And I know that, the backup QB might be in there. We don't know about Jaden Daniels' health, but he looked very comfortable last week. And I think that's mainly because, and I think this is due to Jaden Daniels' success, is Cliff Kingsbury's offense it's been disgusting at times. I was watching some of these games, they're throwing screen passes, it's double fake screen pass, and that doesn't take a rocket science to throw that ball to the screen to get him open. So I think they can put up some points even against the good Chicago defense.
I think Mariota looked great. I thought he, came in and did his job, and I worry about the Chicago defense, but I certainly think we could score, and 43 is pretty low.
It's not like a true revenge game, but Sweat was talking a lot of trash last year after leaving, and if I'm a coach worth anything, I'm plastering that up everywhere. This dude left your team. He didn't have to. Chase Young hasn't said a whole lot. Doesn't have to say a whole lot of stuff, but he came off immediately. First thing he says, "Oh, I'm such in a better spot. I'm not in a losing organization anymore." Yada yada yada.
All right, I'm going to take my second pick here. I don't know if I've done this yet this year, and that's kind of sketchy for my card. Maybe that's why I got these bad tendencies. But I'm going to grab some points on a game, and I'm going to take the Arizona Cardinals to cover or to +4 against the Miami Dolphins. That's at -108. Last night it was 4.5. Looks like the line's moved. It was 4.5 at -112. It's 4 at -108 now. I'm not nuts about them bringing back Tua. It sketched me out. I haven't really been keeping a lot of tabs on the Dolphins, but I've been watching Arizona pretty much every week. They could score. I think they cover that. I think they get within 4.
I think that line probably moved from the Tyreek Hill news of him not practicing on Friday.
Yeah, there's just a. I think Miami was on my exciting list when the season started. I think we talked about them for the futures, and then things just have not played out. Yes, that's right. Things have not played out according to plan for them. So I think Arizona keeps this one pretty close. Maybe not money line, but certainly within 4. We'll see how many of their headliners they actually have playing. So
Yeah, I've been disappointed. Just talk about offensive coordinators, Mike Daniels. You would think even without Tua, you could scheme some stuff up, but they have looked absolutely lost. So yeah, not great faith, even if Tua comes back.
it's also interesting, and I know you never think injuries or you worry about but Tua's had a history injury going all the way back to college. The concussion things in the NFL, and you just think they'd have a really serviceable backup. That's something they could just immediately drop to, and maybe I'm being biased because Mariota looked amazing last week for my Commanders, but yeah, I don't know. It didn't look
Joe
great.
Flacco. I mean, Jameis Winston. He was the third string QB for the Browns up until last week, or this week actually. So it's just there are some dudes out there. It does make you question things a lot.
All right, so this is where Stone gets to stack them up. He's got 2 back-to-back picks here, and the rest of us have nothing. So whenever you're ready.
All right. First one, I've gone with this team a lot with spreads and have done pretty well so far. But the
Can I
Bengals,
guess who it is?
you can, but I already said it.
Is it the Chargers?
No, it's not the Chargers.
Oh,
It is
you
One of
said
one of
Bengals.
his new teams.
All right.
the Bengals at -2.5 at -118. I still am not fully convinced by the Eagles. The Bengals have looked really good the past few weeks. Joe Burrow and the offense is clicking. Their defense is not great at all, but I still think they can. It's just a field goal, and I think they're going to win this game at home. And
Yeah,
then
the run defense
go
has
ahead.
certainly looked better. So
Exactly. Yeah.
that helps.
And
Yeah,
then next pick, uh, Bryce Young going to Carolina. I think the Broncos offense is not super great, so I'm going to take the under 41 points at -110 on this game. I think it's just going to be a really ugly game. The Panthers are obviously not going to do anything, but I think the Broncos will get an early lead and kind of just run the game out.
And what odds did you get on that, Stone?
That was -110.
-110. So we got an under. I don't have any unders for you here. That's all right.
I think I did one and lost, but that's fine.
In fact, my stats for Jamie he didn't pick any of those either. So I'll just hang on to those for the next category. All right. So that's going to close us out on the game side. And we'll get pivoted over here to the player prop side. So Stone and Jamie are crushing this category. Stone will go first. He'll have 6 picks. Jamie second with 5 picks, and then I'll bring up the rear with 2, and then I'll stay silent for a while.
Check your sheet. I should have 6, right?
You should have 6.
He had 7 the week
I had
before.
7 last week.
All right, hold on. Let me check.
I lost 1, but ouch.
Mine? Oh, I know why. It's because I didn't update the
Oh,
to add that
you
extra
broke
line to the
broke the
total.
spreadsheet.
Yeah. Oh, I broke the
Spreadsheet is
spreadsheet.
broken.
Okay. All right. Jamie's got 6. Uh, okay. So Stone, you're still. Wait a second. Would that change? What did you go? Oh my goodness. This is why I gotta be a better. All right,
What
you're
did I,
2 and 5. Okay, so no, you're still gonna go second. All right, Stone, go ahead.
All right. I kind of stole this from Jamie. Just pick running backs on good teams against bad defenses. But I'm going to go with James Cook over 61.5 rushing yards at minus 115. And it's been working all season. Why not?
yeah,
Just keep
why
going.
fix it? I mean, he was on the list, but he was down on my list, but he was still on the list.
All right, Jamie.
So for my first pick, I'm gonna go with Kareem Hunt over 65.5 rushing yards at minus 120. He has hit this game or hit this line every game he's played. Las Vegas is giving up 90 to lead backs this year. I don't think it'll be a close game. They're gonna feed him.
I love that you picked that because I have 2 metadata stats for you here. Jamie is 17 and 6 picking running backs.
It's pretty good.
The podcast as a whole is 0 and 6 with the Chiefs when riding with the Chiefs. We have not picked a correct. So not only so now we got the best of both worlds here. We get the Chiefs pick and Jamie's 17 and 6 on run. So we now kind of took out both of my things at the same time, but
yeah,
I'm interested to see how this goes.
Now this brings up last week. I mean, Juju goes out there for like 2 plays and pulls the hammy. I mean, that's brutal. Just to waste that pick.
That was a tough
Yeah,
one.
I had like all 5 of those were tough, man. Oh,
Pollard was
actually,
like right there too.
yeah, Pollard right there. The only one I didn't, it was Cleveland running back came back from an injury. That one I should not have taken, but
They
Big Chubb shouldn't have taken that pick. But that's the only. All the other ones I feel like were just.
it went dry last week. We started off the day really hot. Even at halftime, we had a lot of things, player prop and total sides, and then the witching hour happened, and all of a sudden you look back and somehow 10-11 on all the picks, and luckily for the touchdown picks, we came through. But yeah, that was it kind of dried out for us. So that's going to kind of send it over to me, and I am going to take. Well, the first, these are probably going to be the dirtiest picks of the whole podcast. These are guys that no one else is going to pick, and this may be why I have losing record. Yeah, probably for a reason.
Maybe you should look at the record on the first tab there and maybe revise the strategy.
Yeah, you're probably right. I'm not going to go. I'm not going to go running back in this case.
After 17 and 6.
Oh God! Now you're making me think twice.
No, just to pick it. Just come on, put it out there.
All right, I'm going to take. I'm going to take Trey Palmer. Trey Palmer is a backup wide receiver for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He is going to have much more targets this week. I said I wasn't going to go with the increased workload anymore, but this is a guy I really liked at Nebraska a couple of years ago. I think he is, better than his role on the depth chart. His number is 38.5. That's at minus 115, and I'm going to ride that one out.
I don't like it all because we're picking like running backs, like great running backs, great players, star players, and you're picking like bums that are like second string wide receivers that have
well,
Trey Palmer. I hope you don't watch this podcast.
Mike Evans doesn't seem like he's going to play. Godwin doesn't seem like he's going to play.
Godwin is definitely out. Okay, I think we can agree on that one.
No,
and the Falcons gave up a shit ton of a bunch of points last week.
You didn't think like Cade Otton, like that's out of the Tampa Bay people. You couldn't be like dude that got like 10 catches at the end of the last game.
I had Cade Otton on my list here. His number is 50.5. I'm not going to lay 50.5 on.
He's going to get like 10 targets. Oh,
maybe.
No. Oh, Lord.
No, you know who they were playing? They were okay, noted. They were playing the Ravens last week, who give up a ton of points to tight ends anyway. You don't.
All right. Well, let's.
We're gonna look back, and it's either gonna be me in the same
I
position,
mean, you're
or I'm
picking
gonna
guys
be told
like
you so.
Dalton Schultz and like Noah Brown. Like,
Oh
what do you
yeah,
expect to happen?
We're
they
almost
both
halfway.
they were both right in line with. All right, you know what? Noted in my notes.
No,
All
no,
right,
no. I say we
compassion.
keep letting him pick. You
That's
get 2
yeah.
more weeks. We get to the halfway point, and then we're gonna have, we're gonna sit down and we're gonna make you pick other picks because this is ridiculous.
No,
All right,
I don't
mean,
hate. I'm not trying to hate on you too much. I think it makes sense, especially with Godwin and Evans out, and I think
no,
somebody's gonna
I'm
get the
cool
ball.
with the hate.
We'll
It's
go
gonna be
with
Trey
the.
Palmer.
All right.
This is gonna be that little internal chat we got. Is gonna be the Trey Palmer all over it highlights.
I hope you find
All
the
right.
only Trey Palmer gif.
All right, I'm
Yeah, you're
going
right.
with another running back. Surprisingly, on another
okay.
good team, another good running back, Kenneth Walker, same game, over 64.5 rushing yards at -115. Buffalo's rush defense isn't great, or hasn't been great in the past this season at least. So go with that.
I did not have him on my list. But
He's-
the Seattle has a good offense, so like Buffalo got exposed a couple times in their run D, so it's not a bad pick at all. It's the odds here, like that. He has good odds. He's gonna get touches.
Yeah.
That's where we're coming up with these picks, Connor. Like Kenneth Walker is gonna be
Manufactured
used.
touches.
Yes. Okay. For my next pick, we're going to talk about some. We talked about some tight ends. I picked this tight end last week, and he hit it. Brock Powers over 60.5 receiving yards at -120. He had 14 targets last game and 10 catches. It's going to be a negative script for the Las Vegas. They're going to be losing to the Chiefs, and the Chiefs have given up the most yardage to tight ends, even more than Baltimore.
I've been tracking this guy on some other spreadsheets for all the rookies, and his number has only gone up every week, and he hits it. It seems like almost every week.
I think he's the tight end
Interesting
one
thing
on the
about
season too, which is just coming out, going crazy.
And
Minshew
it's the
loves
thing-
tight ends too, so we're in good graces here.
Yeah, and the numbers have been going in the other direction for this, but for a while there on the season, I don't know how many touchdowns he has, but his touchdown was like plus 230, plus 220, plus 200. So anyway, I'll leave it at that. All right, I'm going to take a good player now. Okay, I'm going to take a good player. I'm going to take a player that everybody loves, and I do not trust really Washington's defense. They give up big plays to at wide receivers, wide receiver one. I'm going to take DJ Moore over 57.5 receiving. That's at -115. Outside of the horrible performance that the Carolina Panthers put up last week, they've been giving up a ton of points to the wide receivers, or a ton of action to those number one wide receivers. And even then, you could make the argument that Deontay Johnson had a great game against us anyway, right before they started throwing all those interceptions. So I'll take DJ Moore. 57.5 really isn't that high. My worry for that is there are just so many targets on that team that he could have a great game and spread the ball out and still get to 231, which is Caleb Williams over, without him actually getting to 57. But I'll take wide receiver one.
Yeah, I love this pick too.
I think Keenan Allen, coming back, it affects some of the shares. I mean, Romeo Dubs, not Romeo, Undunze.
Dunze.
Yes, he definitely has been affected by Keenan Allen coming back. But all that said is, yes, we are terrible against number one. We're terrible against big body wide receivers. It's DJ Moore qualifies, Deontay Johnson, AJ Brown, all those big guys. We don't have a big corner at all. And first of all, our corners suck. Talk about some bums. But we don't have one that can match up against a bigger guy at all.
The last time DJ Moore played the Commanders, he scored 3 touchdowns on Thursday night or something.
Yes, he did.
There it is.
The other one, where I was also going to go with that, and I don't want to take anyone else's picks away. I thought the number was kind of a little high. I was expecting it to be like 19.5. Longest reception for him, 22.5 yards at -105. that was all. That was my backup pick for DJ Moore in case someone
Be a
sniped the
bomb.
total. But all right, I'll pass it back to Stone, and I'll remain silent.
All right. Another running back here. I looked at both of these running backs on this team. Last week I went with the other one and won it. But Raheem Mostert's line is really low. I think he's still getting a lot of touches with this offense, and I think with Tua back, they're going to be able to run the ball a lot more efficiently. So over 35.5, super low at minus 115.
So, I mean, we can talk about this. I'll just immediately go with the other guy here. I'm going to go with A-Chain over 56.5 at minus 115.
Yeah, I love this line too.
I love
So-
what's happening here.
Yes.
This is back and forth, competitive. Pick and run. Keep going. This is great content.
Great. I mean, yeah, they're what do I got here? Cardinals 27th ranked run D, so this both running backs. And that's after they only gave up 59 last week. But A-Chain came back, had 15 carries and 77 immediately after concussion. So I don't feel like they're gonna pull it back at all. I think they should get Mostert involved more, just to help the offense in general.
I
Yeah,
was
that's how-
going to take A-Chain's line later on if it was going to be there, so I think both of these are going to hit. I
Oh,
think,
the old double up.
yeah, well, you did it with Gibbs and Montgomery, right? And it worked.
Yeah,
So,
it did work.
but I
Versus
think,
Dallas.
yeah,
Let me get this straight. You're going to take 2 running backs from the same game and 2 running backs from the same team.
yeah.
Is that what you're saying? Okay. That's
did
not
it
on my
versus
card. Maybe that's why I'm losing.
He was until I took it. I mean, yeah, Detroit paid off. They both hit.
Yeah, I Cardinals bad rush defense. They're getting Tua back. I think they've been playing against a lot of stacked boxes, and I think it's not going to happen this week. They can't afford to do that. Especially if Tyreek Hill's in there. If you're stacking the box against Tyreek Hill, you're just asking to get burned. All right, next pick. I'm gonna take a pick you picked last week, Jamie, and lost. But now C.J. Stroud, he's back at home. I think he's gonna show out over 1.5 passing touchdowns at minus 105.
I mean, he's due.
Colts D is bad, and I think they're gonna come out and they're gonna have a good game.
It's gonna hurt if he hits this for you and not for me. It's gonna really hurt. Like, that's when I'll know. Podcast gods have officially said, "All right, you had your year. Here you go, Stone. It's your year." For me, I think we'll stay on this game. We'll go with the running back, Joe Mixon, over 77.5 rushing yards at minus 120. It's a big line, but the Colts have literally the second worst run D, and he's had 100 plus in every game that he's been healthy. The only game he didn't have 100 plus that he played in, he turned his ankle, and then he missed it the next couple games. So, I mean, they love to feed him, if he's healthy.
All right, this next one, I am going back to a team I've made a lot of picks on, Connor, this time, but Justin Herbert over 202.5 passing yards at minus 115. He threw like 330 or something last week. I think they're starting to pass the ball a lot more, even though it doesn't seem like they have like any receivers on the team. And the Saints defense is super injured, and I think the Chargers go out there and at least throw over 200 yards for Herbert.
There is that Chargers pick, Connor.
Yeah, there's the Chargers pick. I was gonna say, watching that game last week, or like just seeing the box score because I was on night shift. That team seems like they have 10 tight ends and they have 2 wide receivers on the team, and the distribution of the ball is kind of crazy. Seeing some of the names that are popping up. We follow this stuff a lot, and I was like, man, I don't know a whole lot about that that guy. Yeah.
For my next one, shocker, another running back. I'm going to go with Jordan Mason, and we touched on this. The Cowboys' defense is just so soft. It's over 79.5 rushing yards at 115, minus 115. Again, another kind of bigger line, but he's been known to hit this. And again, I think this is a desperation game for the 49ers. Again, the Cowboys defense, especially against this type of run team, they can't handle it.
All right, I'm picking a wide receiver going against one of the worst defenses in the NFL. Jaden Reed over 58.5 reception yards at minus 115. The Jaguars are just a terrible defense. They made Drake May rookie's second ever start, and he's going out there looking decent enough.
All in.
carry
All
that
in.
team. I think Reed's had a couple off games, and I think he's due for a big game, especially against a bad defense.
All right, and then Jamie's gonna close us out with the last pick of the player side.
So this is the guy, last couple weeks, they've definitely been making a push to give him the ball more. Bijan Robinson, over 65.5 rushing yards at minus 115. Tampa just gave up 244 to the Ravens. Now, granted, that's the Ravens, the best rushing offense in the league. But I just feel like with the injuries to Tampa Bay, they're not going to be doing well on offense. It's going to give Atlanta more time on their offensive side of the ball. And like I said, they've been feeding Bijan lately. They didn't do so hot in the beginning of the season, giving him the ball, but now they're really giving him the ball and letting him shine a little bit.
Yeah, I won back-to-back on this, and I really looked hard at it, trying to go for a 3 for 3. I probably should have taken that, looking back, but I like it a lot.
Why didn't you like it? Come on.
The Bucks defense, run defense, particularly has been good, and Vita Vea, he is one of the best D linemen at stopping the run, and I think he still hits the line, but it gave me a pause for concern because I think they're gonna have Kirk Cousins threw for like 5 touchdowns and like 500 yards. So
Yeah.
if you're gonna beat the Bucks, it's through the air most of the time.
I thought about that as well. My thought was just like Tampa Bay is not going to do anything on offense without Godwin and Mike Evans in that.
I think there's a real possibility they just wear them down all game.
Yeah, just the sheer amount of time that Atlanta has the ball. 65, 20 touches maybe.
That's not very high. I like it. I think Algiers been getting a lot more run though as well.
Yeah, that's the thing. That
Kinda
one
sketchy.
game, he got close to his line, and then he was like 4 yards away from his line, and they just fed Algier for the fourth quarter. So that is a concern.
All right, I'm going to pivot us over to our touchdown parlay. Last week we had a Aaron Jones, Chuba Hubbard, and Mike Evans touchdown parlay that hit, first one of the season. So that's going to get us up 1.84 units into week 7. Now that we've done this 7 times, it's going to get more challenging. We have a pretty good percentage on this. We're sitting about over 66% on the touchdown. That's where all those extra units are coming from when you look at our record. So we'll just go in the same order as normal. Stone, Jamie, then myself. And so Stone, you get us started.
I saw this. So what I've been doing for these is picking guys from high over under games, and I was shocked when I saw this guy's line. AJ Brown touchdown at plus 135. I think that is a super great line. Bengals defense not super great, and I think Brown is like behind Barkley. Brown is the number 1 target on that offense.
Absolutely. Great pick.
I think they also said Goddard's out this week. Did I read that correctly? Or he's
Probably.
questionable, so that helps.
Ooh, I had
He's been getting a
Saquon's
lot of
line,
targets.
and I did not know about this Goddard news. I'm glad I did not pick Saquon.
Now you're making me think I.
Were you about to pick Saquon?
Article. No, I wasn't.
Saquon's probably at like minus 200 or something ridiculous.
Well, no, I meant his like regular rushing
rushing.
line. Yeah, it was like 85. Oh, is it me or you, Connor?
It's you, Jamie.
Okay, I'm gonna go with Najee
Mm-hmm.
at plus 105. The offense looked pretty good with Russ. Now, can he keep that up every game? I don't know, but I think if at minimum it should give the defense pause this next game and open up some stuff for Najee.
All right, I'm going to take a guy that. Ooh, I just put that in the wrong place. That was minus 105. I'm going to take a guy that I think has been getting touchdowns, seems like every single week, and he can still get positive number runs on it. I don't see it on the board yet, so I'm a little bit surprised with Jamie making running back picks. I'm going to take Brian Robinson Jr. at plus 110 with Daniels hurt or kind of the backup in. I think that they're going to give. Robinson has had a great season so far. He got a little banged up once, had to kind of sit a game out, but he's been scoring a lot of touchdowns. And I think if they get in close, they're not going to be as willing to let Daniels run it now that he's a little banged up. So I'm gonna take that.
Yeah, I just worried, about Daniel's health and how that would affect the offense. I did look at this one, and by the way, Najee was plus 105 now.
Plus 105, my mistake.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it was, I had other ones on my board here. I almost want to save it. I don't want to say them, but I love everything about these other picks. But I feel like I've made the safe bet. Yep, that's right.
Yeah. No, it's a good pick.
Yeah, I won three. I hit 3 in a row on this. This is the only thing keeping me alive. So I'm trying. I gotta get 4. I gotta get 4 on this one.
Yeah, you go. I mean, it's a good pick. Like I said, I think early in the season I was trending towards Jaden was just being greedy. But like you said, they're going to protect him. If they get inside the 5, if he runs the ball, fire the coaching staff. Personally, we're getting down to this. I wouldn't even play him today. Like, I get it, you have a shot at the playoffs, but it's not the goal. You're rebuilding. Get him healthy, let him play out the rest of this year. There's no need to push it. I mean, we're sitting pretty in the division right now, even if you want to think about that. But you're supposed to be your franchise guy. Protect your franchise guy. Overprotect your franchise guy.
If this was like a Kevin Durant, Achilles kind of thing, or if this was like the McCaffrey, I would totally understand that. He came back on the field and seemed happy, healthy, good. I know he's not 100%, but it didn't seem like if he was like in a bad place where it really wasn't.
It's his cartilage, so it's not like an actual bone thing, but it's still like if he gets hit again, maybe the cartilage doesn't hold up and now he breaks a rib. And then what it breaks a rib, it punctures his lung.
Yeah, there's so much positive energy around the Commanders right now.
Mariota looked good.
Mariota looked good. Yeah, no, I'm saying play Mariota is fine. I'm cool with that. I just this idea of like we're trying to rebuild. Like no, that it's over now. We're going for the playoffs. Over 6.5. Over 6.5 wins. Let's go. We're gonna win that division too. Anyway, going back to the touchdown parlay, we got plus 912 on that. Let's see if we can hit back to back on this and kind of that. Not that I'm counting, but something like that would put us towards positive for the entire rest of the season. And this is only going to get more challenging. So it would be nice to hit back to back. Does anybody have any additional kind of points or anything as far as that's concerned?
I don't think so.
Looking forward to all of Stone's picks going down in flames.
Whoa! I didn't see that coming.
Damn. I'll still, even if I lose every pick, I still probably am still above you in units.
Look at that.
I'm gonna put this one out here. And I said I wouldn't do this year because we already, take up all this time. But had you guys picked something chalky like Henry or Saquon or something like that, I was going to put on there Njoku anytime touchdown plus 230.
Yeah.
Because the Baltimore Ravens give out touchdowns to tight ends like it's nothing. And that was my backup. So I was like Robinson to be safe and Njoku if we throw something fat out there.
He was one of my lines. I had his yards as a backup line, but I don't know. Jameis scares me. Like if DTR was still playing, I would definitely take that Njoku touchdown yards line, but Jameis could literally throw it to anyone. He could throw it to the ref. He could throw it to the other team. He could throw it to the coach.
What's great about Jameis is that when he throws a pick six, he's immediately back on the field, and he's got to keep chucking it. So
I
yeah,
mean,
like that.
the only guy in history to do a 30-30 season,
yeah,
30
so good.
TDs. 30, I mean, that's never going to be recreated. I can tell you that much.
But yeah, I
Trouble
also liked
with them.
Njoku's line. That was my backup as well.
All right. Well, that's going to close us out for week 8. I appreciate everyone for joining us. If you've been betting with us, you've been winning. So hopefully you come back next week and we keep the streak alive. We move it into 7 weeks in a row in the green. And I'll see everybody next week.